Okay, so this is the year where I'm going to play more golf, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to play some competitive golf as well. But what I do want to do is make sure that I get on that golf course more frequently, particularly than I have over the last couple of years. So therefore, I've been doing a little bit of sneaky practice on my golf swing, and what I want to do is I want to talk about two aspects of what I've really been trying to work on. Now, the first one is I'm trying to keep that club face as passive as possible at the bottom part of the golf swing. So that means I want that club face to feel like it stays square in the bottom part of the hit. Now, the only way that can happen is if you move your body, okay? And you have to move your body correctly. So the feeling for myself is what I've really been doing is working on this drill where you hold the club like you normally do, you put your right hand or your trail hand underneath the club, swing back, and then what you're going to do is you're going to use your right hand to keep your left arm elevated. And then as I start my downswing, you've got to turn. So the way I turn my chest down and over my lead leg. And if you turn correctly, you'll notice the way that you get the club low to the floor. Okay, so let me show you this. So see the way I'm not pulling my left arm down. This is not an arm move. I'm keeping my arms elevated and I'm moving this way. See the way I get that club head nice and close towards the ground. Now for a lot of golfers, they think rotation is this. And this is why I think this is a really good drill. And if any of you are ever interested in terms of what it feels like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now, this means that I'm navigating linear, so movement to my left, and rotational movement. And you can see as I do this, the way that it gets that shoulder nice and down to the ground. Now that's key, because when I get that rotational movement, so if I come down, that means I really feel like I'm pulling my left arm across the golf ball. And what that basically means is if we introduce a bit of a plane line here, we can swing that club on plane by sort of not moving the body, but then it requires lots of arm rotation. And therefore, that's not a feeling that I necessarily want to have coming in towards this year, because I always worry that it's a bit too much timing and I worry about missing towards the left. So the feeling that I'm trying to have is I want to make sure I turn my body with that drill in mind, because that means now I can pull the club shaft on plane. So the way I can pull the club shaft to the left, and it means that club face is going to stay nice and square and nice and stable. So that's the first feeling. The second one is very much to do with my takeaway and that first move. So I sometimes have the habit when I take the club back where I get the club face a little bit too shut. And then this means that I start to get a little bit too vertical in the early backswing. Now there's not a massive problem with this, but it means that you have to do a lot of shallowing coming into the downswing. Now personally, the feeling that works much better is to make sure that in that first move I'm introducing a nice bit of wrist hinge, as you can see here, as I get that club head going straight through that line, because now can you see the way my club shaft goes up through the plane line, and then from here I can just go straight into that rotation, feeling like I'm pulling that club across. And when I'm swinging and hitting it well, it genuinely feels like I'm hardly moving and using the club face at all. And that's a great feeling that I've had. So all I'm doing is a little bit of wrist hinge up, and then I'm rotating through the golf ball with that same feeling that I had earlier. And those are my swing thoughts going in towards this year. So I'm really interested knowing what you guys are working on this year, and if you have any other similarities of things that you're trying to do. But any of you that ask questions, anytime I have any students that come for lessons, swing plane is your priority. Okay, once you're then swinging the golf club on plane, then you can start worrying about how you're releasing it and all the rest of it. So if you're somebody who swings it like this, don't overcomplicate it. Get the club down on plane first and foremost, and then you can start worrying about, how you're moving. So it's more of a wrist hinge, turn, and then from there I move this way. And if I get that movement correct, I should be able to guide that club through on plane with very little movement. Something like so. So that's what I'm going to carry on working on. I'm going to keep updating on the channel, practice drills and stuff that I'll be working on as well. But I just wanted to put a little video out there on a couple of things. So it's wrist hinge, keep the club on plane, and then I turn this way so I feel like I can pull the club across the ball, keeping that face nice and square. I'll see you guys again soon.